One afternoon, December 2012. I was on the bus out of town to fulfill my duty. I had fallen asleep when my phone rang. I went to answer it. Then a cop came and said, "It's her." I didn't have a chance to react before he came over and took my phone and my bag. I asked them, "What are you doing? Do you have a warrant?" Another police officer yelled back, "Shut your mouth." They forced me off the bus and into their car. I didn't know where they were going to take me or what they would do to me. I felt so scared. So I quickly prayed to God. May God be with me and give me faith and strength to stand firm. Then, at the station, the officers put me in a dark room and handcuffed me to a chair. Both my hands and feet were cuffed and I couldn't move. I was interrogated. "Are you a leader? Who converted you? Where were you from? Where were you going?" I didn't answer. So they started to threaten me. "If you don't confess, we'll strip you down, pour water on you, and leave you outside." I thought about my weak constitution. I hate being cold. And I have heart disease. It was winter and I was cold indoors wearing a jacket. If they really stripped me, poured water on me, and dragged me outside, then I would quickly freeze and die before the sun came up. I was so scared. And at that moment, I thought of God's words. "Be not afraid. With my support, who could block this road? Do not forget, all that occurs is by my good intention and is under my observation. Can you follow my word in all that you say and do? When trials of fire come, will you kneel and call out or cower, unable to move forward?"
Amen.
Amen.
God's words gave me faith and strength. And I made a silent prayer to God. "Oh God, everything is under your control. You allowed these officers to arrest me today. I will lean on you. I'd rather die than betray you. I will stand firm."
Amen.
Seeing I refused to talk, they forced off my down jacket and poured cold water over my head. I was shivering from head to toe. Later, they watched me to make sure I wasn't asleep. Then, the next morning, 3 people from a special task force came in. One of them looked at the interrogation record and then yelled at me. "We know you're a leader. Where you've been these past few days and where you were going. So hurry up and come clean." As he spoke, he stormed over, slapped my face with leather gloves on, leaving me stinging with pain. Then, they took me to another room without a surveillance camera and pushed me down on a stool. They then cuffed my hands behind my back and stuffed socks into my mouth. They grabbed slippers and whacked me across the face, cursing as they hit me. After the beatings, they took the socks out of my mouth and asked me gently, "You're stubborn. You won't say a word. Do you want some more? Why would you choose to suffer like this? Could we beat you this way, without proof? What is your duty? Just spit it out, so you don't have to suffer." Realizing I wouldn't speak, exasperated, they stuffed the socks back in. Then 2 of the men approached me to my side and pried my legs apart by wedging their knees between mine, while another used an electric baton, brutally shocking my private parts.
What demons?
I know.
I was in unbearable pain. And I blacked out not long after. When I woke, someone was hitting me in the face and started yelling, "Stop playing dead." Seeing me awake, they started using the baton on me again. They shocked me like that many times, shocking me until I passed out, then hitting me to wake me up.
They could kill people like that.
I know.
The last time I came to, I was lying face up on the concrete floor. Then a man started to stomp on my face. My face was wrenched down against the floor, while the others just sat, smoking cigarettes and eating sunflower seeds. A guard named Leo spoke with a seed shell in his hand. "I don't need to be working this hard. I can just stick the shell under your fingernails and you'll have had enough." He smirked and asked his friend, "You use that trick? Take an ice cube and shove it in her down there. Then she'll be done. A taste of that would do it." Then they had a big laugh. Looking at that gang of rascals and beasts made me extremely angry. Then Leo said to me, "If you don't fess up, we'll send you off. And there, they won't be as nice to you as we've been. You'll be locked in a little dark room, a room where it doesn't matter who you are. They'll hang you up and beat you. Even beat your underwear off."
Those demons.
I know.
I felt so scared, hearing them talk about those terrible things. I had seen some of them on television. People were tortured within an inch of their lives. It's horrible. I told myself. I said I had heart problems, but they're still beating and torturing me. They don't care if I live or die. If they really wanted to torture me like that, could I physically take it? I kept praying and calling out to God, asking Him to be with me, to lead me, to stand firm and not give in. That's when I thought of God's words. "Do not fear. The Almighty God of hosts will surely be with you. He stands behind you and He is your shield."
Amen.
Knowing that God is my shield, I didn't feel so scared anymore.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Seeing that I still wasn't talking, they said to me, "If you confess, we'll let you go. We'll go get some food and drinks. You won't suffer anymore. Neither will we." Then a leading officer said cruelly to his cohort, "If she doesn't come clean, pull out all of her fingernails and her toenails, and then her teeth." Hearing that, my heart seized again, and I quickly prayed to God. "God, my life was granted by you. My death will be as well. I am not asking to live, only that under Satan's torture and threats, I won't betray you or my brothers and sisters, so I can humiliate Satan."
Amen.
Afterward, I felt calm and at peace. No matter how much they threatened me, I wouldn't say a word.
Thank God.
I was tortured by the police for 2 days and 1 night. My body was weak. My heart was pounding hard. They realized that I wasn't going to confess anything to them, so they brought me to a detention house. And there, female officer brought me into a room, then forced me to undress and turn around twice in a circle. Seeing black marks on my private parts, she asked me if I had some sort of disease. I said no. They were from the officers shocking me. She didn't reply. Later, she said to the officers who brought me there, she has a lot of big black marks on her private parts that aren't from us. You should sign that. They're not from you either.
The police just lie and cheat so brazenly. They're so evil.
They are.
Hearing that exchange really outraged me. Around 8 in the evening, the special team members came back to question me. I felt my heart jump again, so I prayed to God right away. Oh God, I don't know how they will torture me today. Please be with me and give me faith and strength. After praying, I thought about God's words. When people are ready to sacrifice their lives, everything becomes trifling, and no one can get the better of them. What could be more important than life? Thus, Satan is incapable of doing more in people. There is nothing it can do with man. Although, in the definition of the flesh, it is said the flesh is corrupted by Satan. If people truly offer themselves and are not driven by Satan, then no one can get the better of them.
Amen.
God's words gave me faith. I would sacrifice my life. I'd rather die than betray God and sell out my brothers and sisters. It felt like I had the words, prepared to die, written on my body. And I felt ready to go against the torture.
Thank God.
Officer Liu interrogated me. What is your alias? What do you know about the church? Hurry up and come clean. You'll save us the effort, and yourself the misery. I said, there's nothing to come clean about. Exasperated, they began to use cold torture.
Cold torture?
It was in December, the coldest it gets in northeast China. The officers shoved me to the window, took off my coat. They cuffed both my hands behind my back and pulled my shirt up around my shoulders so my exposed back was against the window. Outside, the window was a thick layer of snow. Gust after gust of icy wind blew in. It was bitterly cold. Then they pulled my pants up, above my knees, took off my socks, and put my feet in a basin of water. Then they poured icy water over my head and soaked my socks with water and rubbed them over my legs, from my feet to my knees, and put a soaking rag outside the window until it froze and then placed it on my stomach.
They're trying to freeze you to death.
Really? Those demons.
I felt the coldness shoot through my whole body, and every inch of my back was in agony. Then, they took out a photo and asked who it was, saying, "You're always working together. Don't say you don't know him." I knew. It was Brother Wong. We know each other. We'd spoken on the phone a day or two before my arrest. When I saw that he was wearing a yellow vest, I knew he had been arrested. I thought, the police are aware we know each other, so if I say I don't know him, they won't believe me. What should I do? I kept praying and calling on God. I thought of God's words that say, "Do not fear this and that. You should stay steady before me, whatever hardships you may face. without hindrances. So my will can be done freely. This is your duty.
Amen.
Amen.
God's words help me feel confident. No matter how much the police know about the church, I can't name my brother.
Right.
And I definitely couldn't give them any information about him.
Yes.
I didn't say a word. So they started to threaten me, saying, "Don't be stubborn." He wouldn't say anything at first. After, we'd used a metal hook on his crotch a few times. He couldn't handle anymore, and he talked.
Those demons are shameless. They are capable of so much evil.
They are.
Yes. Feeling angry and disgusted, I turned my face away. They walked over and started slapping my face with leather gloves on. Afraid my face would swell too big for the detention house to accept, they would rub my face with ice-cold water, then start up again. I felt something in my mouth, and when I spit, blood came out. They didn't stop. They would rest for a moment, and then keep hitting me. They beat me until I was dizzy and seeing stars. My back was still facing the open window, and they kept rubbing it with cold water. My entire body was in waves of indescribable pain. They kept hitting me and then pouring some cold water on my head, then hitting me again and pouring more. Torturing me like that all night. I lost feeling, and at the same time, I was going out of consciousness. When I thought, am I going to die? I vaguely felt someone open my eyelids and lift me to one side. A few people were gathered around me, doing something. And then I blacked out. I don't know how long it had been when I heard someone saying, "It's fine, she won't die." With all my effort, my eyes opened, and I saw them rubbing my hands and feet. And I slowly regained feeling in my body. It was daytime. A new group of people watching me, not letting me sleep. Then, somebody walked in from the next room over, took a picture, and left. I heard somebody from next door say loudly, "Who is this person?" I didn't hear an answer. But after that, I could hear the sound of somebody being hit. I could hear that. It was a sister screaming miserably. I felt like my heart was cut through with a knife. I knew that the sister chose to suffer a beating instead of selling me out. I felt so terrible and wished they would come beat me instead and let the sister go. But I could only pray for her silently and ask God to protect her and give her faith. They tortured her like that for the whole day. At night, the officers came to interrogate me again. One of them tried to persuade me. You might not care about yourself, but think about them. If you admit you're a leader, we'll just sentence you. They're not important, Will. Let them go. If you don't come clean, then all 40 or so will be ordered to identify you. The ones who refuse will be beaten. hearing that, I remembered the sisters' heart-piercing screams from earlier. There were also those brothers and sisters they'd shown on the computer, including 2 older sisters in their 60s who were ill. I thought to myself, I should just confess and let them sentence me alone, so the brothers and sisters don't suffer. When I admitted I was a church leader, he took the handcuffs off me right away, poured me a cup of water, and asked me urgently, "Then who's the other leader?" "You're a leader, so you definitely know where the church's money is, right?" I looked at him and thought, the church's money is an offering to God by God's chosen people. It has nothing to do with you demons. Wanting to seize that is shamelessly evil.
Yes.
Yes.
I wasn't answering, so they kept asking. Until it was nearly dawn, but they didn't get an answer from me, and sent me back to the detention house. But once there, I couldn't sleep. These people were very devious. They would never only sentence me and let the others go. I was so stupid, letting myself be fooled. Also, I admitted I was a leader, which put all those I talked to on the phone in danger. I really hated myself, seeing how treacherous the police were. I had to pray and lean on God more. Otherwise, I could fall for more of Satan's tricks.
That's right.
On the evening of the 24th, the police brought in my younger brother. Feeling kind of panicked, I prayed to God repeatedly. Oh God, the police don't have good intentions, bringing my family here. They're trying to lure me into betraying you. God, I know that I can't do this on my own. May you watch over me, protect me, guide me to overcome Satan. After I prayed, I felt much calmer. When my brother saw me, he cried out, "This is getting out of hand." I spoke to a bunch of lawyers and they all said they couldn't help you. The Public Security Bureau said you'll get at least 3 years. Just tell them everything you know about it. I didn't say anything. Later, my brother had told me that the police had searched my house, but they didn't find anything. I remembered I had some books of God's words, and the police hadn't been able to find them. It was truly a blessing from God.
Thank God.
My brother kept trying to persuade me. And when the police saw that I wasn't saying anything or even crying, they threatened me. "If you don't fess up, you'll do time and your nephew won't be able to join the army. You're hurting yourself and your family. You need to think about others." I knew that. They were using my emotions to trap me. I don't have any kids, so they used my nephew to threaten me. I thought to myself, what happens to my nephew when he's older is in God's hands. It's not up to me.
That's right.
You even want to get the church's money from me? Think again. I still didn't say anything.
Thank God.
Yeah.
In the Special Task Force's next interrogation, they showed me a video. I saw their deputy director and a host sister in it. I was shocked. How had they even found her? They asked me, "Surprised? Do you know her?" I said no. They got angry and cursed. You don't know her? Why'd she say she recognized you from a photo? I wondered if she really could have sold me out and what I should do. That's when I suddenly thought of some of God's words. My people should always guard against Satan's schemes, guarding the gate of my house for me, so you don't fall into Satan's trap, or it would be too late to regret.
Amen.
God's words made me realize this was a trick of Satan. No matter if she betrayed me or not, I couldn't sell her out.
Yes.
Identifying her would make me a Judas. It's a betrayal before God.
Yes.
I said confidently, I don't know this person.
Thank God.
Exasperated, the police said, I'll tell you the truth. Staying quiet won't do you any good. We're going to pin everything we know onto you, and we'll say you're the sellout. Even if you got out, your church wouldn't want you anymore.
Despicable.
Yeah.
I felt concerned about that. If they really did that, would the church really think I was a Judas and not want me? But then I thought, God can see into a man's heart, so he will know if I was a sellout. I believe God is righteous and knows everything.
That's right.
I said I didn't know her.
Thank God.
Seeing that, the officers flew into a rage. They pushed me to the window, took off my coat, opened up my shirt, rolled up my pants, and poured cold water on me again. Up to the morning of the second day, my hands and feet had lost almost all feeling. My feet were swollen to the point I couldn't wear slippers. They kept interrogating me about where the church's money was and asked me to name brothers and sisters. I didn't say anything, so they kept torturing me with cold. One officer said, viciously, "You know, it doesn't matter if you believers die. If you don't come clean, I'll kill you." I thought, then you can kill me. I will never betray God or the brothers and sisters.
Amen.
Later, I found out from them that the sister had never betrayed me. They made up those lies to try and trick me. I thanked God with all my heart for protecting me from Satan's trap.
Thank God.
I was tormented like that for 2 days. Once, a 50 or 60-year-old officer walked in, asking Officer Leo with a wicked smile, "Have you used that trick?" Leo said, "Not yet." The other officers left, and he came over in front of me, put his hands down my shirt, and squeezed my nipples hard. It hurt tremendously, but my hands were cuffed behind me and I couldn't move. So I had to endure the abuse.
What a beast.
Yes, truly evil.
I was truly enraged, and I thought, the more shameless and cruel you are, the clearer your evil is to me. No matter how you torture and humiliate me, I will not betray God.
Amen.
Steeled, I gritted my teeth and turned my face to the side. Then, he started to touch my belly. For probably 20 minutes. He didn't take his hand away until the 2 officers came back. After that, They started torturing me with cold again. Same as before. Each time, they pushed me against the window to freeze for a few hours. When I was clearly frozen, they shoved me aside and closed the window to let me warm up a bit. When I was warm, they would freeze me again. I was so cold that my teeth were chattering, making noises, and my body shivered to the point that the iron chair started rattling. Seeing me like this, they mocked me. I was tortured over and over, so my body felt extremely weak. Sometimes I even fell asleep while being tortured. Seeing that I wouldn't talk, they threatened me. If you still keep silent, we'll have the crime unit come, and they won't be as nice as we've been. I was so angry that I asked them, "What law does my faith break? Did I commit murder or arson or robbery for you to torture me like this?" They awkwardly replied quietly, "You didn't break the law." Then they just walked out. I thought, I just believe in God. I didn't break any law. The Communist Party has made such a fuss and used all kinds of despicable methods against me. Now, the crime unit is coming to interrogate me. They really won't rest until I'm dead. I thought of God's words that say, "A filthy land for eons. It is horribly dirty. Misery abounds. Ghosts run rampant with deception and groundless accusations. Ruthless and vicious. Trampling this ghost town, leaving it littered with corpses. The stench of decay pervades land and air. And it is heavily guarded. Who can see the world beyond the skies? Forefathers of the ancient, beloved leaders, they all oppose God. Their meddling has left all beneath heaven in darkness and chaos. Religious freedom, the legitimate rights and interests of citizens, they are all tricks for covering up sin."
Amen.
The Communist Party declares to the world that there is religious freedom and that their citizens have personal freedom. In reality, they don't let you believe in God and follow the right path. They use despicable methods to persecute God's chosen people,
Yes.
then try to destroy God's work of the last days. I saw that the party is an evil demon that resists God and harms the people.
Right.
The more they persecuted me, the more I would reject and forsake them. I prayed to God again. No matter what unit they put on my case, I would put my life and death in His hands. My breath was given to me by God. So I was willing to entrust my life to God and submit to His plans.
Amen.
Thank God.
During the next interrogations, no matter what they did to me, I prayed to God and leaned on Him, so I didn't say anything. Then, I saw they were getting less and less eager to interrogate me, while my faith grew stronger and stronger.
Thank God.
They used all kinds of tricks and any cruel methods they could to torture me for about 26 days. Another inmate said to me, "I sold drugs and got beaten for one night. When you believers get caught, you get beaten like crazy." Later, they realized that they weren't going to get any information about the church from me. And my brother paid 20,000 yuan to pull some strings. So they granted me bail pending trial. I was emaciated when I was released and got serious rheumatism due to the cold torture. My joints were all in pain, and I couldn't lift my neck. The Communist Party's cruelty left a deep mark on my body and mind. During that time, although I had suffered a lot, I truly felt that God was always by my side, protecting me, using His words to guide me and give me faith and strength so I could overcome the devil's cruelty. I am full of gratitude and praise for God, and I have faith to follow God my whole life, expend myself for Him, and repay His love.
Thank God.
We also have faith.